Stickscast. Stickscast. Yeah. Keep going. Stickscast movie cast. Stickscast movie cast. Six ass. Nice.
I felt like I was in a whiplash right there.
Oh, beautiful.
You get a haircut?
I did. Thank you for
good, man.
noticing. Yeah. So that's it. I feel like this is the first podcast we've recorded in a while where it's like at night where I've like showered. I feel like the other ones we've done, it's been earlier in the day and I just look awful. But also
I
quick.
think you look great.
Oh, you too, Isaac. Come on now. Come on. Always. Well, also I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. There's a soccer game going on across the street.
Oh, cool.
And because it's Seattle U, they don't understand like how to chant correctly. And I think they have one of those horns that's like wah, and I don't think they understand like the right times to use it. So
I'm well familiar with Seattle U Sports, yeah.
Yeah, well, so like for like 20 minutes, they would just be like blasting it nonstop, and it was just like bah, 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 and then it stopped right when I started this. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But Isaac, how was your Halloween? It's I know it's not a couple days after, but
oh yeah, no, it was good. It was good. I had two costumes this year. One of them I was a country folk. And the other one I was Maverick from Top Gun. It was pretty cool. It got a little because my Maverick thing, it's just like from senior year of high school, I bought a Top Gun costume. I just never wore it, so I just wore it this year. It's like a jumpsuit, but it's like really shitty. So we went to a club, so I was walking back. It's really cold right now at night at 2 a.m.
yeah,
And I was just like shivering, and I was like, "Wow, this is what the Navy feels like." So that wasn't fun. But the other one was really fun. Being a country person, I don't want to say cowboy because I wasn't really a cowboy. I was like in all denim and then like a plaid shirt and a hat. I looked like I was from Eastern Washington.
yeah.
So yeah, no, it was a good time. How about you? What did you do?
My Halloween was, I didn't really do anything for Halloween, but I was mad because because Monday was the actual Halloween day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was annoyed, like I was just tired or grumpy. And then I don't know about you, but I think this was my first ever Halloween where I went through the whole day not eating any candy. And if you're not like doing anything fun, and then you're not eating candy on Halloween, it is one of the most just miserable experiences ever.
Yeah, sounds like it.
So, and I thought of like a costume, but it was way too late, so I was really mad about it too. I was gonna dress up as Porco Rosso, and
that would have been amazing, Nils. Right,
yeah,
at least
it's doable.
To it.
Well, or like I don't know, who knows what's gonna happen to Stickscast? Maybe one of these days I'm just gonna dress up in front of the camera, in my full. But yeah, it's doable. You just got a pilot's cap, pig nose, sunglasses, red tie. But So
I'm waiting.
well, stinky Halloween. Well, we should go right into our big Burundi update. Isaac, have you done any Burundi searches recently? Because I have not.
I have not since
so this will be
open borders with Rwanda.
Okay, this will be like live, hot news.
Oh wow! Okay, well I found something.
Oh, what is it?
So the UN Refugee Agency, the Deputy High Commissioner, urged strong international support for Burundian refugees to return and rebuild their lives.
Interesting.
200,000 Burundian refugees have returned from neighboring countries like Rwanda with the open borders thing. That's important since 2017. Okay, that's interesting. Wow. Well, good to know, right?
But I wonder, like, what made them say this now? Like, what was the context of the
opening the borders? borders. It does mention that there are like roughly 90,000 refugees from the Democratic Republic of the Congo that Burundi's hosting right now, um, which is huh interesting. And then
Interesting.
well, that's a typo. Um, 30% of $80.5 million for funding Burundi for refugees. Interesting. Okay, cool. That's awesome.
Oh,
Um,
dang. Well, also really quick, I wanted to add on to last week's news because I just saw an article from. Oh no. Okay, I
uh-oh.
don't know. All right, let's. Oh boy. Okay.
What's,
Whoa.
what's going on?
I don't know. Oh. I clicked on this website and I immediately got three right wing ads, Trump ads. I'm on it.
Well,
So
they know their audience, right?
it was the Burundi Rwanda border was closed for so long for a very important reason, and now it's open for carnage. That's why I saw that, and I was like, "Whoa!"
Well, there
Uh,
you go. It's open for carnage.
oh, oh, okay. So this is from the specific website. So let's this website, which
Yeah.
I doesn't really look credible, says actively supports as well, carries out the dirty work of the West. Whoa, 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 hold on. There's China and Russia's involved,
Mm.
What the fuck? Okay, this article is way too long to read, and I don't know if it's factual or not. But
I
that
got
is
another one for when you're
interesting.
done.
Yeah. Go.
Yeah, so on October 25th, so a week ago, I think. No, maybe 8 days ago. Um, 8 days? Yeah, 8 days. The European Union said on Tuesday it had lifted sanctions on three officials from Burundi, including the PM, as it engages in ongoing dialogues with authorities about improving the country's human rights record. So, for those of you who might have not caught any coverage we've ever done on Burundi, they have a pretty bad human rights history, and it looks like it's going to get better. So that's great news. Um, ugh,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
that's
I've
really bad.
noticed, at least from the news we get, right, from
Yeah, at
Google
least from the
aggregate.
it a lot of the shit changes. I'm sure before it gets over
Yeah.
here to the West, but it's looking up.
Because yeah, ever since we started reporting on the country, I feel like the news has been an upward trend, right? It's been all this stuff, right? You had the border thing, you had the foreign currency. Remember
Mhm.
what was that about? Like they just couldn't. They what was I don't know. There's something, but it's all like going back to that like 2015 coup time.
Yeah, here I'm sorry. I'm trying to do some, just try to find something right here. Um, Oh, gotcha. Okay. So, yeah, no, listen, it's really cool to put it into perspective, like you said. Since we started this coverage, uh, Burundi has had no coups, and before we started this coverage, it had nine. So I feel like we're making a positive influence here, and I'm just happy about it. We're doing some good in the world, doing some
We
good.
really are. I say every time, every week. So like when I get really bored in class, I'll check the Anchor dashboard right to see the stats
Yeah.
on the podcast, and
Oh, really?
every week I just hope that because they have a like demographic thing, I'm like, please, just one person in Burundi, just
Yeah.
one, and we haven't gotten it yet. I don't think we haven't gotten anywhere in Africa. It's mainly
That's kind
just
of
like
disappointing.
yeah, it's mainly like India, and I think
Mm.
there's but it's like,
Hey, listen.
damn.
Wherever you are, we're grateful for you. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
They're just listening on a different platform that isn't the ones I uploaded on. It's just,
Exactly.
it's,
No, our podcasts are being pirated. Um, clearly. So
well,
it's good, man. It's good.
oh, do you think, so like how they have all these, like, laws, right, on, foreign currency and stuff. Do you think they have, like, what's the right word? Oh my gosh, I haven't taken macro in so long. Do you think they banned the import of like podcasts? They're not
Like
even
meant in like a
allowed.
quota, or like just not a total ban or a quota.
Well, okay, you can't really. I don't know. It's hard because it's like internet stuff, right? But
Yeah.
like, oh,
Um,
actually, I want to see.
I mean,
Have we
countries
even
have
looked up
what
like?
restrictions, so they could ban the major podcast suppliers, for example. Um,
y-
I would say it's possible. I wouldn't say it's likely. Like I can tell you, no one in North Korea is listening
uh,
to us right now. Um,
Yeah. I
so like,
also
unless it's like
um
if Kim Jong Un is listening to this podcast, oh, that is like so awesome. Like, all right,
that
all
would
right,
be
all right.
really
Sorry,
cool.
that sounds bad. That sounds bad. Let me rephrase. All right, it would be significant. There you go.
Yeah. See, oh yeah, I know that would be what a
That'd be
time. I
cool.
also really I just want to look
I
up.
would put that in my Instagram bio.
Uh, because like I also just want to look up that Burundi's free speech laws. It's like the most predictable ones where it's like freedom of speech, but you can't talk shit about the president and like
Oh yeah.
senior officials. And then it says material deemed to endanger national security and racial or ethnic hate speech. But no, yeah. So I mean,
Yeah, two for three. You know.
the more. Oh, but speaking of hate, Isaac, we see a lot of it between these European countries and all quiet
Unfortunately,
on the
transition.
Western Front. Is that the title of the movie? I keep it's too
Yeah, it's
long.
all
I think it's
quiet on the
all.
Western Front.
All right. Well, and I don't.
A
We'll do a
cow.
quick
It should be AQOW or
AQ.
AQW. All
Oh, you're doing
quiet
the all
on the
quiet.
Western Front. Oh, I guess AQWF.
A calf. A calf.
Akuf.
A
Aqua.
Well, just to introduce, so this is an all new movie. It's came out from Germany. It's their number one like submitter, I think, for best for Oscars this year for foreign film. So this is their big ringer. Oh gosh. Oh
You know, it's
wait, never
weird to me
mind.
how I do find it curious why they chose this World War instead of the second one. Wonder why, Nils? I wonder why.
Yeah, that would be a very different story. That'd be so funny. It's just like Germany's like fuck it, and it's the same level. It's just like Nazi soldiers or whatever, and like there's no
They make
Hitler, right? I
Hitler
mean,
a complex character.
yeah, or something like I don't even know. Like that'd be so fun. It's all from just the Nazi perspective, right? Where because you had like that one guy who's like begging for the armistice, right? And then
Hmm.
I don't even know. Anyways, oh, this
Actually,
brings
must be
so this
maybe.
was directed by you'd expect it to be like a German name. It
Hmm.
probably is. Oh, it is. I'm dumb, but it's a funny name. This movie's directed by Edward Berger. So take that,
That's
Germany.
like the most German name I've ever heard. Nils. Er,
But like burger,
Burger.
a burger.
Yeah, it's BER, right? Not BUR.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
BER. But the
I've
synop,
never even seen this language.
yeah, the synopsis goes: Paul Baumer and his friends Albert and Mueller, egged on by romantic dreams of heroism, voluntarily enlist in the German army. Full of excitement and patriotic fervor, the boys enthusiastically march into a war they believe in. But once on the Western Front, they discover the soul-destroying horror of World War One. And before
One.
we get into it, I am very curious. I didn't do any research about it.
Yeah, of
Like,
course, go for it.
it seems I'm just curious why like this movie came out now. I don't know. Like, I'm not saying there's like a political statement about it, but it's just interesting. I feel like there's now more of a trend of like World War One films as opposed to World War Two movies. If that makes any sense.
Um, so there
You're
were
good.
a few things that I mean, like, there's a few things that really stand out to me. But I mean, so going off of what you said, I think I have a pretty good reason for it, and I mean, maybe we'll see. Who fucking knows? I've done no research into this. Um, Option
Yep.
A is they found out that the Battlefield One servers were shutting down. They're like, wow, we have to make a tribute to this. And B, which I think is more likely, I've been learning a lot about this in my American Studies class. So leisure culture started getting really fucking popular in like the 20s and 30s. And I mean like really popular because that's when you saw the first like cinemas and stuff, right? And so my theory on why we're seeing such a surge in like World War One stuff instead of World War Two stuff is because like we had our big media boom like literally when slightly before and when World War Two was happening. So, I mean, obviously, World War Two. I'm not sure about you. I can probably name like a few movies off the top of my head, but there's just like so much content there, and what we're seeing right now is like a big theme that I loved, obviously, about the movie is just like how it's like these people were these young people were essentially lied to and said, yeah, listen, you're gonna go like have a great time in Paris, and then they were like scooping guts and mud out of trenches all day. And it's just like I think that the reason why they're so important right now is because it's showing that like just in general, um, uh, how do I say this? I think it's just really popular now because there was a big media boom when World War Two was around. Obviously, Vietnam was probably the most publicized war we've ever seen, and like basically every other fucking war has been taken, and now they're just gonna dig into like the shit that no one's really touched so much. And I think I like it
Yeah.
personally because I think World War One was
Mm-hmm.
probably the most vicious war like that there's ever been. Like I mean, you watched the movie; it's just completely brutal. It was the introduction of mechanized warfare with tanks, and it was just like I think that the movie did a really good job of just showing like how like in terms of diplomacy, like there's no one that's really thought of as anything more than a number unless they're some fucking rich asshole who's a senator or in this case a commander. Like it's I think so I like that a lot. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean this was it's World War One. It's like the first major conflict in world history where like we really found out just how good we were at killing people, and I'm a big fan of the resurgence. I guess that was
I
a
mean,
lot. Sorry.
no, 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 no. I mean, well, because like, is it correct to say the World War One is the first modern warfare? Like in terms of, I think it is, right? I mean,
I would
I
say
know
so.
that's like a
I
loose
mean,
definition, but
um,
I don't like it's. I think it's really true. Like the first war that just has so much violence and numbers
mhm,
to it. It like and
yeah,
all of that. I mean, it's like how the end of the movie was saying about the yard, like moving trenches or whatever, gaining ground. But like, and there's just so much. It's just a combination of like all the technology made right towards it, like guns, chemical weapons, artillery,
hmm
tanks. It's just like all these tools just to kill each other. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I did a quick like Google search, and I saw like Time magazine was like, uh, all quiet or the movie it's a warning to the world. So like maybe they're saying it as like with timing at the Russia Ukraine conflict, but it's like I think the movie was made before that started. But I mean, there's also all the tensions before it, so
hmm
it's like, uh, so I mean maybe there's an aspect of that in it. But like I don't know. It's very interesting. I mean, yeah, I like your point. That's like World War Two with like the big like leisure market or whatever, and it's like also. I mean, I think another thing too. I mean, there wasn't many Americans that went to World War One, right? Like, I don't really
No,
think
we were pretty
there.
late. I mean, like all the world wars, we were pretty late.
Yeah,
I
but
think
especially
so. I
like
think the order. Oh, sorry.
no, yeah, because yeah, no, it's like World War Two came in late as well, but like especially, I mean, still in World War Two, like you still had Americans going, like the Pacific War, right, and all
hmm
that, but like I don't know, maybe that's also a big reason, like because I mean, all of the at least for me, all the films I've seen about World War One haven't been made in Hollywood, or at least not like they're not American made, right? They're
Yeah.
European made, and so I mean, I think that's also just a lot of things. Is there's a lot more Americans, have family members that connect with like World War II, right, or Vietnam. So a lot more, and then it's too political to really do Iraq yet, right? You can't. I mean, you can, but it's like kind of
Right.
if you go from like I feel like if you do Iraq, right, and it's literally soldiers, it's like a pretty pro America stance, at least from what I've
Mm-hmm.
seen. But yeah, especially World War One, I don't think a lot of Americans resonated with it as much. Maybe just because there really wasn't much involvement, and yeah, also the timing of everything. But it's just fascinating because World War One is such an impactful event in history, and almost the same. I don't know. I'm not gonna. I want to be careful with like the words I use of it saying like it's the same level
Of
of
course.
impact. Whoa. Uh oh.
You
My
right?
headphones are dying. Yeah, my headphones
It
are
happens.
slowly dying. But yeah, I mean, it's just in terms of just like shifting the world and warfare. I feel like it's the most impactful war ever.
I would say
I
so.
mean, because like World War Two, you have like you know
If you
nuclear
don't count,
bomb.
if you don't count the atom bombs, yes. But if you count the atom
So
bombs, it's World War II. But technically, that was when World War II was over, so we're not touching that. I'm not at least.
so yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think we're um, but yeah, it's definitely interesting. And sorry, did you?
Mm-hmm.
I think you was there something else you wanted to say about like the context of World War One or whatever earlier? I don't know if I thought I
Oh,
cut you off or
just
something.
oh no no. Just like going back to like how I mean, for me, I agree. I think it's like the first actual example of quote unquote modern warfare. That's when we had artillery. That's when we had tanks. Well, the first version of tanks, which weren't really tanks, but I think that like the reason why it's so like weird to look at is because like and it's so distinctly different from what every other war movie's been about because um in World War II and obviously in Vietnam and like you said in our wars in the Middle East, like it just the method of warfare is so weird because like if I mean you watched the movie, we played Battlefield 1 back in the day. um it was literally people digging trenches, shooting artillery, and then they said, "Okay, well, we're gonna run at them." And that's just so distinctly different. And I think again, I also think that's one of the reasons why Hollywood hasn't really made a lot of these is because a obviously, like you said, who in the U.S. would care about a war the U.S. barely fought in, and b it's just not like it's difficult to capture the atmosphere if that makes sense. Like yeah, you can have people
Mm.
running at them and then get shot, and that's like okay, well, time to wait 6 hours. But I think that I mean I again just I'm a really big fan of the fact that we're getting more World War I stuff because I think it's uh, I'm not sure if I would say the most it's the most like just one of the most confusing like just conflicts ever, and I think that it really paints a really good picture about how really no one really cares about like anyone on the ground. Like, we had the what are they called? The generals, for example. He was like, "Yeah, the war's ending in 15 minutes. I'm gonna send you on a death march because I feel like it." And I
Yeah.
feel like that's a really really important message to kind of see, like especially now because we're getting a lot of like excess nationalism, for example, which is super dangerous because it leads to shit like this, where it's like,
Hmm.
okay, well, there's no reason for you to, but because I want you to, you're gonna like go fucking march, and if you don't, I'm gonna shoot you in the back of the head. So I think it's
Yeah.
important, and I really like it. I also think that like
Yeah.
objectively speaking, the movie is beautiful, which is absolutely
Yeah.
insane to me because they made a bunch of muddy fucking like puddles, and a completely like silent battlefield, like just I don't want to say beautiful, but like harrowing. I
Hmm.
think that's a word, but
Yeah.
I really liked it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Really quick. Before, why do I smell so much gas? Sorry.
You might want. No, if you have like a gas leak, you should go check it, man.
No, I think that's just my heater. That has to be it. It's like it was a
If you
lot.
smell gas,
No, 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 I'll be okay.
Nils,
If
it's
I
gonna
go
be
out,
fucking. Nils, do you know how sad it's gonna be for me to show up at your funeral and be like, "Yeah, I was with him when he died. He died to a gas leak when we were recording a Stickscast episode about World War I. He yeah, he died. He died on podcast." Like, no, I don't. Come
Actually,
on, man.
yeah. Okay, let me just check the kitchen. I'll be really quick.
Yeah,
Isaac,
go
you
check
banter
shit,
or
man.
something.
I'll banter. I'll talk about all my shit, man. All right. Now that I've got this whole thing to myself, my therapist tells me to not ever be alone with my thoughts, and now you're alone with me with my thoughts. So let's see what we can do. Oh, never mind. Nothing happened. Our secret.
Okay, I'm
All
embarrassed. It's just my
right,
heater.
Nils, good to see you.
That was
Okay,
that was
okay.
dumb of me.
Just want to make sure you didn't
Um,
die. That'd be really sad.
yeah.
For
Well,
any
okay. So yeah,
reason.
let's. Yeah. Well, okay. So let's get into the movie because yeah, let's start off with that. Just how it looks.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I would say that's probably the movie's best feature, if you will. Yeah, I like said in my review, but like the dirt in the movie is so good. There's so many like they made the dirt just look nice. I know that sounds
Yeah.
very, but
No, it's
yeah,
some nice ass dirt. Yeah. No, you're right.
I don't like, and even okay, because I watched this movie a while ago now. I'm trying to remember. It's like specific shots that looked really cool. Do you have any in mind, or that like you're
Yeah.
like, damn?
I got a few. I thought so there's two that come to mind specifically. Going on into the theme of like no one gives a shit about actual soldiers, when it comes to like politicians and generals. I think the scene where they were in it was like near the start of the movie, um, when it was more of a montage. They showed a montage at the start of the movie about people picking up like really bloody and uniforms that people died in, and then what they would
Yeah,
do is they would load that on a train or a truck, and they'd bring it, they'd wash it, they'd clean it, they'd do all that shit, and then they'd just like be like, okay, well, we'll just give this uniform to someone else, and I think
yeah,
that like
that was cool.
specifically just like how nonchalant the recruiter was about like, oh yeah, it just didn't fit this guy, and then he tears the tag off and then he just dumps it on the ground. I think that's like a really good it's a really good way to like not foreshadow but paint the picture of what's going on, and yeah, foreshadow actually. But I also think that when he was in the ditch with the French soldier, Paul, I think, was in the ditch. I thought that was like a really just like that was just like painful to watch. Like not in the, oh, this is such a fucking stupid film, but like in the just like the like it's watching two people who probably don't want to kill people, but and they know that like they're all alone. There's no one coming for them, and it's like, okay, well, we one of us can't leave, and it's like dealing with that and then seeing them have to go back and try to save him after he's already killed him is just it's so sad, but it's a really good scene. So
That
those are the two I
that
would
was
say.
a, oh yeah, no, they definitely, yeah, like the opening. That was a really smart way to open the film. Yeah, with like that guy going out and then that uniform just getting stitched up and sent off was really cool. I don't think I've really ever seen that before. And then yeah, I think because I would say like for me the first half of this movie what just it was a little bit for me, but once it got to that point of the like he was in that ditch with that French soldier, right? And he stabs him, and he feels bad, right? Or he's like, well, first he's
Mm-hmm.
like, stop fucking. I don't know. It's a very interesting sequence of events, right? Because like he first like stabs him, and then he doesn't like hearing him like suffer, right? And he's like trying
Yeah.
to, he's like putting his hands over his mouth. He's like, shut up, and then he tries saving him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sequence is really touching in some way. And once again, that also was really cool because Paul, whoever did the fucking makeup with that dirt, right? Like in it,
Oh yeah.
there's something there. It's like doesn't even like look human in a way. It's nuts. So I think that too really elevates that scene. Because yeah, I'm trying to think of there was like, but oh, and then I mean. Oh, and another part I don't know why it stood out to me for some reason. And it wasn't even that significant, but the beginning when like they're have wearing the gas masks, right? And then he's like looking at his I don't really know the ranks, but like, upper level
Commanding
sergeant,
officer. Yeah.
yeah, whatever, yeah. And it's just like that shot where he's just like breathing and the mask, like I don't know, it just looked funny to me. It kind of had its own like life to it, and it was really creepy. I don't know, like the eyes, But no, yeah. So I don't know. Oh, and then also, I mean, I think an interesting thing they did as well. I don't. Besides it just being like, oh, it's the nature, right? There's a lot of transition shots, like going in a new scene with like a single tree. Did you? I don't know, Isaac, if you picked up like, I don't know what would be your like take on that, or like why do you think they did that, or what was effective about it?
Why did
I
they
don't
have
know.
shots of just a single tree?
Yeah, well, like you know what I'm talking about, right? Where it's just
Yeah,
like,
no, I know what you're talking about. I mean, it
yeah,
happened a
yeah,
few
yeah.
times. It was like when they were retrieving the all the guys who died from the gas leak. Like right before that, when they came across the skirmish front, and they had the single tree with just like the corpse in it, and then where I forget what his name. My favorite character when the guy gets shot by the kid. Um, no, there's a lot of
Oh,
that. I don't know what that symbolism is. Um, but I mean, it looked cool, so maybe that was just that.
yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing the director put more thought into it.
Well, and really quick, also I forgot to say this is based off a 1920s book,
Hmm.
which in that way it makes so much sense because I feel like the pacing and the flow of this movie is literally like chapters. If that makes any sense, like this seems
Yeah.
kind of like a book you'd read in like high school, right?
Hmm.
I don't know, like especially the scene where it's like, oh, they're having a rob from like a family, and take this goose. That seems
Yeah.
like so like class like early 20th century like literature. I don't know what about it does, but no, yeah. I don't know. Those eggs didn't look very good either, but I get it. They didn't really eat.
Shit, I mean, yeah, based on what they were eating. And also like I think another scene that really stood out to me was when the tanks first arrived.
Oh yeah.
Because, and it's specific it wasn't like honestly it wasn't even like the dawn of the new age of mechanized warfare or the tanks or anything specific. It was just like these group of three guys who were friends at this point because they had been put into World War I together. They had just stormed an entire trench, and before it was clear, like they were not safe, they come across this big table full of really nice looking French food, like much nicer than the shit they've been given, and they just like
Oh
go to
yeah.
town. Like that was
Yeah.
I thought that was like one of the most fun parts of the movie, and then they all got mowed down, but like I thought that was really really good. Let's
Did
think
you
what
see
else.
really quick? Did you see when they're in that scene like at the same time then like the rats came out? I don't know why, but I thought it was
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah,
they're rats too. That was kind of funny.
yeah.
Sorry. What were you were gonna say something?
No, no, you covered it pretty well.
Oh. Oh. I mean, um yeah. Also, correct me if I'm wrong. This is the first time they've acknowledged muzzle flash in a movie, in a war
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
That was
I mean,
pretty
that
cool.
was
I was like,
huge in World War
oh,
One. So yeah,
yeah. Well, like, yeah, I'm surprised they don't. Cause yeah, it's like if you play any like shooter games, right, and snipers only, that's a classic.
yeah.
But oh my gosh, I just remembered Verdun. That game was so bad.
Oh,
I
I
think
never
that
played
game was the.
Verdun.
Wait, you never. Jamie never scammed you into getting that?
No, I've been skimmed out of enough shit. I think Verdun was like the one thing I never got scammed into
Dude,
buying. I got
that
scammed
game
into
was.
buying Hell Let Loose. I got scammed into buying all the fucking.
Wait, okay, Isaac, have you played a game of Hell Let Loose?
Yes, I have. I've played with you guys. It's terrible. We crawl for 20 minutes and then like a tank rolls over you and you have to start from the beginning. It's terrible.
That sounds a lot like the movie we just watched.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying it's. I mean, it's World War II, but yeah, it's not inaccurate. Yeah, I'm sure.
Wait,
And
was
like
Hell Let Loose World War Two? I thought it was World War One.
no, it's World War II. There's tanks,
Oh,
like real tanks too. Um,
oh,
is
oops.
it shit? Actually, I
Uh
might be
oh,
wrong.
Time to do
Uh oh.
Google. When is Hell Let Loose set? Fuck!
Yeah, World War II. Anyway,
Damn it.
yeah, I was pretty confident with that. Because there's
Yeah.
like paratroopers. Anyway, but like it's just like shit. What were we talking about? Yeah, no. So scams, no more. But going back to the film, I think did you have a favorite character? Because I mean, mine was I forget his name, guy with a mustache and like a family, which really hurt. Well, a wife, which really hurt.
Um, favorite character. I don't. I mean, actually, that low key kind of gets really. I mean, sorry, I'm not trying not to answer your question,
No,
but
of
this
course.
does, I think, get into like one of my biggest like things I didn't. I don't know. I didn't really like about the movie. Is for me, I found the characters to be like just too. I don't know. Like I've seen them before. I don't know. Maybe that's just me in terms of like
Okay. Well,
they
it's
didn't
one
really
movie. Yeah, no, I
stand
can
out.
understand.
But
Mhm.
I mean, like hell, it's just something about him. It's just like I get it. You know, they're gonna be just like all of his friends, right? They're gonna die. Like it would be
Yeah.
unrealistic for them to survive. But like even Paul, I think the actor does a really good job like acting. But in terms of like character development of those him and then like yeah, the older guy, I do like that backstory of like him having the kid. That was nice, but like everyone else, yeah, I don't know. Like Paul, uh, I get it. Like it's World War. You know, that's not the focus of the film, but
Hmm.
like I don't know. You know,
No, that's fair.
I don't know.
That's so fair. I think that yeah, I mean it's hard to like get the personality of someone when they're just like having a terrible time the whole time. I think that
Yeah,
like in all honesty, I think most of their characters stood out when right at the beginning when they got to the trenches and they were scooping out water with their helmets. Right when they
yeah,
all kind of like because once I can't forget his name, but when he mentioned like, hey, if your hands are getting cold, just put them in your trousers. And when they all were just like kind of standing in a circle with like their hands in their trousers, I thought that was really sweet.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying. It's just hard like getting the read on like there wasn't really character development. I also think that like it really hurt because and maybe this was like part of the point. They had a really easy time killing people. Like I feel like if you were in person, I feel like, and who am I to say, right? Um, it's just like a lot. It's I feel like it'd be a lot more difficult, but or maybe it was just spur of the moment. I just didn't like how nonchalant they were about killing until Paul was like, "He has a family." But
yeah,
that's just me.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like maybe for me, kind of felt like this was a really high budget like what's it? Like, I don't know, like something like a History Channel would make, right? Where
Uh,
it's like depicting the war, but it has a really nice budget and it looks really well. It's really well acted, right? But like that's really it, right? Like it's a good portrayal of World War One, but like as terms as like a story, right? I don't. There's a little left to be there, at
right.
least for
Yeah, I
me.
agree.
So, but I mean, no, yeah, this is it was You watched 1917, right, Isaac?
Hmm. I like this
Which
more
one do
too.
you like more? Oh,
I
really?
like this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
May I ask why?
Um, it was just like a better story, I guess. Like 1917, like yeah, don't get me wrong, the one shot thing was really cool. Um, but I mean, like other than that, it was just like it just didn't feel like there was like a real story. Like yeah, okay, he's gonna go and he's gonna go here and then he's gonna go there, and that was it. Like this one, it was yeah, we're like soldiers obviously, but we're also like human beings. Like yeah, I'm sick of this shit. I'm gonna go steal a fucking hen from like this farmer asshole because I want to. And I think that that's something 1917 really missed. Like, yeah, he had a friend who got stabbed, and like it's just like it. I feel like having like acting like this whole movie is just about not a heartless and mindless soldier because obviously at the end there's a lot of reflecting. It's like holy shit. Um, but I mean, for the vast majority of the movie, he's just like, okay, well, I got to do this, I got to do this. He kind of acts like an NPC, in my opinion.
Yeah.
While in this movie, I think that like while the characters weren't really fleshed out, they acted like people and they acted like you would expect them to because they're put into fucking World War One. So yeah, that's my opinion. That's why I liked it
Oh,
more.
and I also should have expanded on what I said when I said like oh like it's the very high budget history thing. I
Hmm.
like that. The only reason I'm like I don't know if I like it is in the context of it being 2.5 hours long, which is how long the
Fair.
movie is. So like
Hmm.
if you want me to stay, sorry, that's the very big thing. I should have put that ever since I
That's fair.
said stuff about the characters, is like if you want to keep me invested for like 2.5 hours, I think there needs to be a bit more than like a great portrayal of World War I. Like I need a little,
Yeah,
you know. Um,
that's fair.
but that's interesting about the 1917 stuff. And I mean, otherwise, it's a really good movie. The only other complaint I had, and I want to know your take on it. What was your take on the like? Not the music, but when it would go like the down or whatever, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I loved it. I mean, I really only noticed it in the first part of the movie. I really loved it. I mean, like, so objectively speaking, like, you know how weird I am with movie ratings and stuff. So objectively speaking,
Mm-hmm.
this is a great movie. Like, the score, effects, cinematography, everything about it, really good. Um, and that's something I really like because I think it had like it's just like, what the fuck is this doing in here? Like when you first hear it, but then when it continues through the movie, it's not like, okay, well, this is only happening when like they're arriving to a new front, when a commander's arriving, and you really get the sense that like it's just like, well, shit's about to get like worse than it already was. So I really like that.
Mm.
I also like it was weird at first, but after two or three times, I really liked that part.
Okay. I mean, yeah. For me, I just wasn't able to. It didn't grow into because yeah, when you first hear it, you're like, whoa, what the hell? Or I think they first play it with like they're stitching the uniforms,
Yeah,
but like it sounds like what they put in like the Battlefield One like trailer music, right, or something like that. I don't know why. I was like, whoa, I don't know. And for me, I can like really, I just it stood out every time it played. But
yeah, that's fair.
no, yeah. So I mean, Isaac, do you have any? I mean, what was your biggest like? Oh my gosh. Fuck. Oh, okay. I was gonna ask this now. I know we're really early on in Oscar season, and the most of the movies that will probably be nominated will have even come out. But do you think this movie, not knowing the competition, has the caliber to win a best foreign film or a best picture
I think it'll
or any
win best
Oscar
foreign film.
nominations?
I think it will win Best
Yeah.
Foreign Film. I think it definitely has the quality to win an Oscar. I can't tell you which
Mm.
one. I would say that like Best Makeup. It's probably going to be in the running. Um, I wouldn't say Best Picture. I would say what else is there? Yeah, I would say it definitely has the quality to win an Oscar or two. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's always like that one foreign film that gets like a lot of steam. I feel like typically, and so this was really early on. So I don't know, maybe if it's too early because then Oscars are in March, and then people will
Who
start to.
knows?
But I haven't been really investigating the map yet of those other
Hmm.
like big. I think there's also like Triangle of Sadness, which I haven't seen yet.
I didn't see that
But
one. Yeah.
knowing it's a comedy, and typically Oscars don't really like comedies all that much,
Yeah,
I
we're out
don't
of we're
think
out of
it'll
the
do that
comedy
well.
golden age.
Yeah.
We're
So
not. We don't get big budget comedy movies anymore, which I'm fine with.
when was what was the last comedy you saw in a theater?
It depends on what you define as a comedy. I would say like probably The French Dispatch, but that's not like a pure comedy.
Yeah, that's
It's
more like
just Wes Anderson, like he just does
yeah.
funny shit. I
I'm
don't know
trying
what
to
the
think
last
of
pure
like
comedy was.
a I'm trying to think of like Talladega Nights like big
That's been a
you
long
know
time. Yeah, it's been a long time. But
fuck.
yeah, we'll brainstorm. I would. Hey, how about this? Next week we'll bring our comedy lists and shit. I think that's a good idea.
Do a good old romp.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
But
Mhm.
but well, also knowing how we haven't, we always do this at the end of our podcast. What would you rate at the fuck at world? I give up.
I'll quiet on the
At
last one. I gave it a
quiet.
4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. Cool, cool.
Yeah.
I gave it a 3.5, but it's like
Yeah.
that's still
No,
good.
fair enough. I mean,
So
the stuff you pointed out is it's apparent.
yeah.
Cool.
So awesome. Well, Isaac, do you have any departing thoughts before we go?
All quiet.
None. All right, that's really good.